kind of a cool thing to do when you're in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Stop at Black Hills Aerial Adventures. They have several different packages you can choose from, and this is by no means an advertisement for them. We just happened to take the tour that included Crazy Horse, Harney Peak, and Mount Rushmore in the first week of May of 2011. Here you can see Crazy Horse in the distance on the right there, and just a look back at the Black Hills from the helicopter. It should be noted also, we were a little pressed for time. We had to take this tour earlier in the morning. It was kind of cloudy. My suggestion would be, if you're going to take pictures and or video, you would want to go closer to the middle of the day when the sun is the highest in the sky, so that you don't get the shadows on the glass of the helicopter. When we went, it was a little bit cloudy, like I say, and it was earlier in the day, so you get a little bit of glare on the glass. So here we're looking at Crazy Horse Monument again. You'll notice different areas as we're traveling around this area of the Black Hills. You'll see patches of brown in the forest. That is evidence of pine beetle, and we have quite a bit of pine beetle damage this year. Pine beetle sort of goes in cycle. Again, here we're on the back side of Crazy Horse Memorial. Different times of the year they have hikes, and you can hike up to right below the face of the carving itself. It's kind of an interesting hike. It's not too long, I don't recall exactly, a couple miles I think. Relatively easy hike. Here again we're looking off into the distance. You'll see, you can't really make it out for sure, but in the distance is Custer, South Dakota. And again, a pretty good view of the Black Hills. We should begin to see Harney Peak here in just a little bit. Here we're looking down a valley that lies actually to the south and east of Crazy Horse just a little bit. Kind of an interesting view. This is Sylvan Lake. And Sylvan Lake is at the base of the, there's three trails, I think, to begin at Sylvan Lake that go up to Harney Peak. It's kind of a neat little lake. It has a path you can walk all the way around it. Kind of a nice afternoon outing walk. There you begin to see Harney Peak in the distance there. Again, you see the brown patches of pine beetle damage. These mountain pine beetles are native to the Black Hills, so they've probably been here as long as the hills have been here, or nearly as long. So certainly as long as the forest has been here, and they go through cycles. So you have periods, several years in a row, where you have a lot of damage, and then they'll subside a little bit. Again, we're looking at Harney Peak. Harney Peak is 7,242 feet. It's the highest peak in the Black Hills, and said to be the highest peak east of the Rocky Mountains. When we were there in May, there was still just a little bit of snow around the hills. We had snow late in the year in the Black Hills. Harney Peak was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s. Tremendous view from the top of Harney Peak. Just tremendous. If you get an opportunity to hike to the top, it's something you should do. Take water though. It's about depending on what kind of shape you're in, it's a 4 or 5 hour round trip hike. So you want to be pretty well prepared. You want to be sure you've got a lot of water with you. Here you can see, you can't make it out really, but that's Rapid City far in the distance there. I hate to keep bringing up the pine beetle damage, but this has been a year really as bad as any that anybody can remember as far as pine beetle damage. That was Keystone there. We'll be coming up on the four faces of Mount Rushmore. We could see behind the faces there where they have the Hall of Records. It's public is not allowed up there anymore. I guess special permission, special access may be granted to particular groups, but it's not particularly easy to get up there. It's a pretty amazing sight, actually, Mount Rushmore. You can see the stone that was blown off during the carving there to the front of the faces. It's a little different perspective from the air than it is on the ground from the parking garage. You see the parking garage there ahead of the faces, and then the theater up. You can barely see the theater there below the faces. There's also a presidential trail you can take that hikes around. You get a little closer to the faces right below them. It's kind of an interesting hike. And you see the backside of the granite mountain. We're beginning our return back to the helipad. There you can see Needles Highway. That's an interesting drive. There's several places along the Needles Highway where you can look back through the tunnels and see the four faces. There's been thousands of pictures taken through those tunnels, I'm sure, of the four faces. Again, we passed by Sylvan Lake. Really a pretty little lake in the Black Hills. You can rent little paddle boats and paddle out onto the lake. We're wearing headphones. You pretty much have to wear headphones, or the noise of the helicopter will just drive you nuts. Here is Saddle Mountain, just to the southeast of Crazy Horse. You can see Crazy Horse there in the background. It was a little bit breezy when we took our flight, not too bad. The flight was just slightly rough, and you can see a little bit of jerk in the video because of it. All in all, it was really quite a lot of fun. We'll be landing back at the heliport here shortly. was a lot of fun. We enjoyed the flight. Pilot was excellent. And that was our tour. Little different perspective of the Black Hills of South Dakota.